Hello, we are the group B5. We are going to present the lesson past continuous versus past simple. Our names are Lupita, Valeria, and Mauricio. First, we are going to see the past continuous. What is? The past continuous is formed from the past tense of be with the ing of the verb. The past continuous describes actions or events in a time before now, which began in the past and is still going at the time of speaking. In other words, it expresses an unfinished or incomplete action in the past. Past continuous use. We use past continuous for something which continued before and after another action. One example of this is the children were doing their homework when I got home. We use the past continuous when we put at the verb the ing and doing. Another is for something that happened before and after a particular time. And the example is, it was 8 o'clock, I was writing a letter. And then is to show that something continued for some time. For example, my head was action. Then we have another use of this tense that is for something that was happening again and again. The example is, they were meeting secretly after school. And other use is with verbs which show change and growth. That is, the children were growing up quickly.
Well, I am going to present us the past continuous tense, the grammatic in positive form. When we have the pronouns I, he, she, and it, we have to need the auxiliary was, and we need to use the verb in first form and ing. For example, I was staying. And the second form, when we have the pronouns you, we, you, and they, we have to use the auxiliary were plus the first form of verb in ing. For example, of this structure, we were staying in Paris. For the negative form, when we have the pronouns I, he, she, and it, we need to the auxiliaries was not or wasn't, and the first form of verb in ing. For example, I wasn't staying. And the second form, when we have the pronouns you, were, you, we, you, and they, we have to use the auxiliary were not or weren't, and the first form of verb in ing. For example, for this structure in negative, for example, we were not staying in Paris, or we weren't staying in Paris. For the structure in question, we need to first the auxiliary was, then the pronoun I, he, she, or it, then the first form of verb plus ing. For this example, was he staying? For the second structure for the question, we need to the auxiliary were plus the pronouns you, we, you, and they, plus the first form of verb in ing. For these examples, we were staying in Paris. For the question is, where we staying in Paris. Now there are two links for do some exercise if you want to practice.
Hello, I will explain the simple past. What is? The past simple tense, also called the simple past, is used for past action that happened here at a specific time, which can either be given by a time phrase, yesterday, last year, etc., or understood from the context. The regular verb add ed to the base form or d if the verb ends with e. Irregular verbs can change in many different ways. The simple past use. When actions finished in the past, single or repeated. I visited Berlin last week, for example. Series of completed actions. For example, we use the simple past to list a series of completed action in the past. I finished work, walked to the beach, and found a nice place to swim. The simple past use in the past. The simple past can also be used to describe an habit which stopped in the past. For example, I studied French when I was a child. He played the violin.
Now we are going to explain the structure of simple past tense in positive form. We need to use a subject, for example, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, or they, plus the verb in simple past. When we have a verb regular, we only add ed or d at the end of the verb. And when we have an irregular verb, the verb changes in simple past. Then we have the negative form. We need to use a subject plus the auxiliary did plus not. And we form did not, or we can use didn't in the contraction form, plus a verb in base form. In this case, we don't use ed. Then we have the question form. First, we have to put the did or the auxiliary at the
Remember, in English we distinguish two kinds of verbs when we use the past simple. The regular verbs, those that form the past id to the base form, that is infinitive without to. You can see the examples. And the irregular verbs, those that form the past with their particular form that must be learned. You can see the examples. You can see the links if you want practice.